everything luxury here in well, I don't know if everywhere else, but here, if you want to make something classy, you need France or Paris or something like that.
Exactly.
It's kind of a match between what is French and what is luxurious.
Exactly. So this
Tell
is
us
what we
about
call
that.
nation branding. Nation branding in luxury is quite important. I have to tell you a secret. Most of the designers around the world, they love to create their perfumes in France in order to have on the bottle Paris. Yeah. I mean, if you think about the Gilles Nakhlé is a German designer. She produces her perfumes in France to have Paris.
The Paris brand. Okay.
Same thing like Yohji Yamamoto from Japan or other Japanese designers. They come and produce them in France because they know they're going to have the Paris tag. And the tag is important in different sectors, such as
Milano.
yes,
for fashion, of course.
I wouldn't say for fashion because now, I mean for fashion for men. Let's be
Okay.
specific.
Fashion for
men
men.
and leather goods. Anything from Italy is leather goods, which means some sectors are typical. It's a stereotype. It becomes a sort of a stereotype, and you use it on the country of origin. You use the country of origin as a stereotype in order to reinforce what the brand is about. In France, it's about luxury, it's about fashion, it's about perfume. In Italy, it is about male fashion and leather goods and shoes. In Germany, we talked about it earlier, it's about cars. Right? They are specialists in cars. So on and so forth. So almost every country has got a sort of country of origin used as a stereotype.
Okay,
Yeah.
like Mexico for the mariachis, and
Exactly.
then perfumes from France.
Perfumes for
You want a
France.
good mariachi, it has to say Mexico.
I would add as well, not only mariachi, based on my experience of last year, tequila, definitely.
Definitely.
Tequila, mezcal, all this is definitely, the good quality comes from Mexico. That's undeniable.
Okay.
Like champagne in France, same thing with mezcal, tequila.
And you were talking earlier about the 6 branding categories
Yes.
or something like that. Can you explore a little bit more on that?
On the 6, well, the one on top, as I said, they are the pure luxury, which means they are the ones that are the highest, that never go on sales. They never go on sales. Example is Chanel. At the same time, Chanel is a couture brand. Haute couture brand is tailor-made, which means you cannot find, you find prêt-à-porter, but it is mainly known for the haute couture.
Unique pieces.
Unique pieces
Okay.
that are tailor-made and that cost, of course, millions. Maybe not millions, but it starts at 100,000 of euros and goes up to millions sometimes when it's a wedding dress with very exclusive diamonds or pieces, rare pieces that they are using.
Or rare materials.
Material they are using as well. So that's the first one. Then we move on to the ones that are aspirational, which means they are there to tell a story. They have a heritage that is important, history that is important, and people aspire to buy them. The ones on top are
we
untouchable.
are entering the car
Yes.
the car
We got
dealers.
Infinity as well here from Nissan, which is luxury
There's
too.
another one.
Yeah.
Sorry, we were talking about the 5th.
Yes, the fifth
Is
one.
the aspirational.
Yes, we've got the aspirational that goes underneath, and they still have a great story to tell. They have heritage. They are rare as well. And we have lots of brands as well that fall into this category. Yves Saint Laurent is one of them from France. And then you have the ones that are accessible, that in the past years have made their lines of products more accessible, more and more accessible. And examples
Like the designer jeans in the 80s that started to build to design jeans with all the jeans, but putting the brand like Gloria Vanderbilt. That's
maybe
what you're talking about?
maybe
or?
a little less. These are even lower. We are at the fourth
Okay.
here, and the fourth is more the one on top, which means we can think of Armani, or we can think of
Dolce Gabbana.
Dolce Gabbana, or we can think of Burberry. Burberry is trying to move up to the second, but it's still quite accessible in a sort of way. Although it is the oldest luxury brand in the UK, but as compared to the French, they have less of a halo around the brand. It doesn't mean it doesn't have value, but in terms of, I would say, accessibility, it is more accessible than the fashion brands
Okay.
in France, the luxury fashion brands in France. So this is the fourth, and then if we go from 654, then we've got the 3, which is a super premium, and then underneath you've got the premium, as I said, and then As I mentioned earlier, you've got the Mastige, which is a mix of
Massive
prestige, yes, and mass.
That would be the real aspirational, isn't it? Because it's branding that people want to show, but
Yes.
yet they cannot jump in the next level.
It is interesting. The Mastige was done for this. What's the interest of a brand such as Lanvin to work with H&M? Lanvin, when they worked with H&M, they thought it is brilliant. We're going to reach the mass, but from the mass, definitely there will be some of them that they will not dare to go and open our doors because it is so overwhelming to go to Lanvin boutique. It is so chic and so luxurious.
They wouldn't even get into the
Into the
the
boutique,
store.
yes.
Okay. All that is kind of tricky because I have seen, for example, Armani watches,
Yes.
or Lacoste watches,
Yes.
and I asked myself, since when these guys are actually building watches?
Watches,
It's
yeah.
only the rebranding, or you were talking about rebranding, post-branding, and wash branding, and can you tell us about that?
Yeah.
Mobility of brands around products and not keeping right into an industry?
Yes. Well, there are different categories as well in terms of businesses. But you have to know that in luxury, it is much easier to diversify and go into what we call the brand extension or brand stretching.
Okay. Brand
So
stretching.
Yes, it is much easier. So why it's much easier? Because when you love a brand, you would buy anything from the brand. It's much easier than when you are, well, even fashion brands, they copied the luxury brands. But if we stick to luxury, all of them, they create a universe. I mean, rare are the brands that stick to one category, such as Rolex or Mobusa, or just a few of them who are into either watches or jewelry, right?
Okay.
Hermes as well. Hermes, they diversified, and people, if they love the brand, the luxury brand, they would buy anything. So they have no issue into, diversifying and extending into other categories.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's more an expression. I mean, I didn't want to say expression, an experience,
Yeah.
or a product. Where is
Where
the
does it fit?
border
Yeah.
of all that, of
Yeah.
all those two worlds or universes you're talking about?
That is very interesting. You know, during the COVID times, Louis Vuitton did something crazy. Louis Vuitton, they came up with a few products for sports at home. So they created weights that are branded Louis Vuitton. And they created ropes, jumping ropes, branded Louis Vuitton.
Wow.
And they created other items that we used at home, because everybody was at home either cooking or practicing sports. And these products they sold online during the lockdown. They sold in no time. Sold out.
And there were limited production, or there were
Of
massive
course,
production?
no limited production.
production. No,
Of course.
Louis Vuitton cannot
They
make
say-
mass production.
never. Although they do lots of massive, because they are present in all countries, almost all countries in the world.
Yes.
And it is the best-selling brand
But
in
it
the world.
looks
so-
like
Yes.
unique, of course.
And in this case, they had just a limited number of these products because they didn't produce it during COVID. They had produced it before, but they launched it during COVID, and it was a huge success.
Wow. Selling online.
Remember, all the rich people, they are becoming richer, and they don't know what to do with their money. So
You cannot
imagine
go,
if the
you cannot go
Kardashians-
to the cruising,
no
you
cruise.
cannot go to
not
summer
sh-
vacation.
No, you
So
can show
have
yourself
used-
at home while you're dressed up in the most beautiful clothes. But what if you're a girl? The hairdresser is closed. If you cannot do your manicure, you can. So there's nothing to show.
And did they jump into the digital world? I mean, they started making selfies with their Louis Vuitton
Yes.
garments so they can look nice in the Instagram or Facebook
yes.
pages.
Oh yes.
I imagine. I didn't see
course.
them, but I can
Oh
imagine
yes,
that.
yes.
And talk me about how the luxury brands jump into digital, how they express or manifest themselves in the digital world.
In the past, when digital started and social media, luxury brands, they were suspicious. They thought that this internet thing is for masses. It's not for luxury. What are we going to do on internet? It's for masses. It's for everybody.
Okay.
It took them a while before they started being present on online and on social media. And nowadays, we can see that the brands, they are all present on internet, but they limit their activities. If we think of Chanel, for instance, Chanel, they don't sell fashion online. They are present. They sell only perfumes, cosmetics.
Not even the pret-a-porter.
No. Chanel, no. They don't sell that.
Only on
Only-
retail
What
store.
in luxury? What is the product that sells the most? What do you think? Here we go. This is a question to
In
you.
luxury, what is the product that sells the
Yes.
most?
In luxury, I would say for luxury brands, what's this category where they sell the most? Because we said they stretch
Garments? Maybe
into,
garments?
No, no. Some of
Jewelry?
them they have problems selling garments.
Oh.
Jewelry is on the up. In the past years, they started selling more and more jewelry. That's why LVMH acquired Tiffany's actually, because they know there's a potential. It's not jewelry.
It's not jewelry.
It is
it's not
cheaper than us.
fashion.
It's more accessible. What do we buy from Sephora? What do we buy from these perfumery shops? Perfume. So the big luxury brands, they make their money out of perfume because they sell millions of them around
And
the
I
world.
guess the business must be very, very on tight. I think the revenue for
It's
a
huge.
bottle of perfume.
Oh yeah,
is huge.
it's huge for a small product. Let's face it. I mean, it's not big money like when you sell a dress, because when you sell a haute couture dress, it's just one or two or five a year. While when you sell perfumes, you sell zillions of them. Chanel, why Chanel has become why for so many reasons, but one of the reasons is that they have the number one perfume in the world for a long time. It's no longer Chanel numéro 5.
No.
But Chanel number 5, it was number one for years.
For years.
So all the brands, they ought to create signature perfumes to be able to make profit. If they cannot, they will struggle. They have
So
another choice.
They say they produce jewelry. Their people is making garments, and they're making money selling perfumes.
They make yes. But it's you asked me earlier if they do extension. It's easier for them. If people love the perfume, it's another
It's
way.
easier to jump into other markets. Wow, I can see
Easier, not for everybody, but for lots or for some. I would say not lots, but some.
that. Just to widen their market. And I
Exactly.
think those kind of brands, if they widen their markets by 10%,
It's fine.
it's like a fortune.
Oh yes, oh yes. And the second product is the sunglasses.
The sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
And the optical, they are very, very expensive.
Optical and sunglasses.
And sunglasses.
Both of them.
They are both very
And
expensive.
here's the secret. The biggest producer of most of the luxury brands in the world is one. It is produced in Italy at Luxottica. So it is one company that produces, I would say, 70% of luxury glasses in the world.
And from there to the
Around
entire
the world.
globe. And they rebrand. I mean, they
They
put
rebrand,
anybody's
they
brand.
reprice,
They reprice, of course.
because yeah, they make big money on that as well.
And then your optometrist adds another
Adds a-
huge amount of money for the glasses.
Actually, talking about this, they just joined two or 3 years ago. They joined forces with a French company that does the corrections of glasses. So they do the glasses themselves, and the others they do the corrections, and they are together. They're working together now.
And they
It's a
got-
joint venture between both companies.
It's both company and Europe.
So it is both a product and an experience, because nowadays consumers are looking for the product, but at the same time they want to live a certain experience. You cannot withdraw one from the other. Especially nowadays, more and more of the young generation, they want to have a physical experience because they're fed up with the digital experience. They lived 2 years online, and now maybe they know online is accessible anytime. They want to live the physical experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have a question, Gilles.
Sure.
Could you talk us about what do you think brands and people behavior
Yeah.
and the biological responses that we have and social responses? I mean, because to have a brand is to be in a group. To have a brand is to be in a position in the society.
Yes.
And to have a brand is something
Psychological as well.
Psychological, yes.
Yes. Well, it is a mix of all of these, and we go back to what we were saying earlier. Nowadays, the importance of community is quite high, actually. Oh, lots of Porsches on the other side.
Yes.
Oh, cow, this is just the luxury and sports cars, huh? So it is a mix of all what you're saying. And the behavior of the young generation is becoming more and more ostentatious, which means they like to show. Why they like to show? Because it is going back to what you said, it's the behavior. What changed in the behavior? It's social media. Social media has created a way to express yourself that we never lived before, which means you show to the world yourself, who you are, what you dress up with, what makeup you wear, what glasses you bought, with
What
in which car you
places
are,
you
what
visit.
place you are with whom you are, because the celebrities are brands too. So people love that, and it has accelerated this in the past 10 years. So these young people are extremely into ostentatious branding, because they decide how they want to represent themselves to the world through a window called Instagram. Initially it was Facebook, but Facebook has nothing to do with Instagram. Instagram is filled with filters, it's filled with anything aesthetic, storytelling, certain maîtrise, how to say, mastery of the pictures. They became all excellent in photography and
And they
video.
do have a feedback, which is the likes, the hearts, the no
course.
likes. That's
That
very
goes back
important.
to the social we talk about, which means socially I need to be loved. So if I don't have enough likes, wow, that would be a disaster. And some TV series actually they show this. That reminds me of a Black Mirror that talks about this. Like people live only on the number of likes every day. It's like, which is an extreme, but we're there. We're there. So these young people, they saw that luxury is more and more accessible, which I didn't mention actually, something important that we didn't have during our generation. It's the low cost, which means the fast fashion. What did fast fashion do? Fast fashion has secured the success of luxury market. How is that? When you are a young person, you're a Gen Y or Gen Z, a millennial, you go to Zara, you buy yourself a pair of black jeans. And then you'd say, okay, I'll put some money on the side to buy my Lanvin shirt. Because you can afford it. Because you can buy maybe Zara is a bit more expensive. Let's take H&M or all the low cost, because low cost exists.
Absolutely.
And it has existed in 15 years, which means the behavior of these young people has changed. In what sense? I can always get myself the basics from fast fashion, and when I want, I can buy myself a watch, I can buy myself beautiful shoes, nice glasses, whatever that is ostentatious, showing my brand or my hoodie. I can do that because underneath, no one knows that my T-shirt cost me $1. You know
So
what I mean?
that's what. Yes,
They mix.
They
We didn't.
mix.
Yes.
What Venancio was asking, the behavioral, the social.
That's behavior and
Those
social.
are two layers that always come together.
Always come together, and they have changed the way the way consumers behave, and the brands have adapted. The brands, that's why they became more accessible, because they know that the young generation is going to make lots of ads for them on Instagram. Because we're not going to publish as much as they do. They know that the young generation are going to buy them, and they're going to. That's why they create collections that are accessible. It doesn't mean everything's accessible.
And now it's changing, because in our times, back when we were young,
Yep.
your family bought you a pair of pants or a pair of shoes to last. I mean, they
Exactly.
have to last you the entire school year.
Exactly.
I cannot buy you 3 sweaters in just
in
one
season.
school year.
Exactly.
In just one season, exactly.
True. So things have changed.
Things have changed. My mother always said, I want the hardest pants, the better pair of shoes,
yeah.
because we will not have money until Christmas.
Exactly.
So
So
should
to last
better
as-
last
yes,
as long as
that's
you
it.
can. And now our students, maybe they buy 3 pair or 4 pairs of
yeah.
shoes a year,
Yes, they don't mind. I mean,
because it's behavioral. They have to show that up, and so
Exactly.
they need to warm up fast.
exactly. At the same time, brands have knew the story. I mean, they have shortened the product life cycle, which means you buy the product, they don't last as much as before. That's why our generation will always say, "Oh, it was better before." Well, it was different before. It's not better because it's a different situation, and they want to sell more, these companies, because they have lots of competition. So at the same time, you have lots of competitors. You have to be unique. You have to be different. At the same time, you can afford to make your products less of quality, so people come back to you. I mean, the best example in premium, we can take the smartphones, the Apple. I mean,
Apple never goes on sale. does it?
They don't. They go maybe on. No, not on sale. No, they don't go on sale. I don't think so.
They kind
But-
of emulation of a prime brand or something like that.